You're listening to Work and Wander, where career stories meet dream destinations. I'm Jay Cocorullo, and as always, for all of 2 episodes, I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Jessica Badlam. Jess, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome today, Jay. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am really excited to be doing our first, I'll call it our first true episode.
Me too. And I'm so excited. Let's not wait and we'll dive right into the tropics today as we're joined by an associate who has a laid back philosophy to travel. And hopefully he will tell us more about that. Let's welcome John Topolosky, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Margaritaville Vacation Club. Hi, John. How you doing today? We're thrilled to have you as our first guest on Work and Wander.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. Would love to just kind of start by diving into your career journey a little bit. One of my favorite questions when I'm talking to different people across the organization, I love to find out how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think this is one of those opportunities that, it found me. It found me at the right time. It was Riley Carr was the recruiter. I was in Maryland, and my background was construction and real estate, and it was right around '09. We were getting ready to open up the National Harbor. The real estate market was changing just a little bit, and she found me somewhere, I don't know, I guess on a real estate list, and she kept calling me. I didn't know what the opportunity was, but the way she got me to really come check it out was to just bring me to the office. She said, "Listen, just come check it out. We bring the clients to you. You work in a team environment. You're gonna love it. Just come check it out. Doesn't hurt to look." And once I saw what was going on, I said, "Man, this is awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to be a part of it."
Super cool. I love Riley Carr.
I like how it's the same it's the same pitch of, just come and look. Can't hurt to
Yeah.
look, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about the last since that day in 2009, any like really unexpected turns or pivotal moments that like really stand out as part of your career journey?
Um, yeah, I would say, probably a proud moment, I guess. I remember we checked out the property in National Harbor, and that her office was in Alexandria, which is right across the street. So that's where those are my old stomping grounds, was that, National Harbor and Alexandria had some amazing leaders that were there in the Northeast region. So shout out to the Northeast. um, but she brought me back to her office, and I'm sitting there. She had me fill out some paperwork, and she leaves, and I see this book sitting on the side, and it's a President's Club book. And I remember there's this big poster on the wall too. It had a picture of some Rolex watches and a Porsche, and it had all these names of winners. And I'm thinking to myself, what is it? So she comes back in, and I asked her, I said, what's this President's Club? How do you get that? And she said, well, that's our, usually our top 2% or so that make it every year. And you make this amazing trip if you do a great job. And then we have some prizes that we give away for the top performers. So I said, well, so you guys give away a Rolex? And she said, yeah. I said, well, how do you win a Rolex? She says, well, that's, usually it's for manager of the year. I said, okay, I'm sitting there processing it. And anyway, we ended up finishing the application and shook hands. And I looked at her and I said, I'm going to win one of those Rolexes one day. That's what's going to happen. So, so I would say a pivotal moment in my career was winning my first President's Club, which was
Nice.
for 2014. So I guess it was in Grandma Land, Hawaii. So that would have been probably January 2015 that we went out there. And I never been. It's amazing. Hawaii is awesome. Grandma Leia is a phenomenal resort. And we had our awards night. And next thing you know, they're talking about all these different award winners, and they call managers of the year for each region to come up to the stage. And all of a sudden, my name gets called, and I had no idea this was even happening. I had forgotten about it. This was years ago, and that I won. So it was. I would say that was definitely a game-changing moment for me, was the idea of thinking about something, setting a goal, and putting it out there in the universe, and then watching it happen. So that was big for me.
I love that.
No, I absolutely love that. And now we all know we have Riley Carr to thank for getting you to the organization. And, the story that you've had since then has been truly remarkable to observe, be a part of, and support along the way. So what led to your current role now with Margaritaville Vacation Club?
So my background, I think, in construction was interesting how that played into getting into sales. I did a lot of project management, and what I'm used to is taking something and building it. Taking something that's not there and then building into something amazing. And every site I've worked at in my journey has been a startup location. So I started at the National Harbor, went to New York City, went to Clearwater, and I think each time having the opportunity to build something from the ground up and was just an amazing opportunity. So when this opportunity came about, um, I had been asked about it. I didn't really know a whole lot about whether or not this was a job I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted to work at the corporate office, being on the field for 15 years, but I will tell you this was the best decision I ever made. Surrounded by amazing people. We have incredible, smart, and amazing people at the corporate office working on all sorts of projects, and I get to be around it and be behind the scenes. So 15 years in the field, now I get to see behind the curtain what's happening, and the future's bright. So I'm very excited to be here.
I love that. And kind of along to piggyback on that a little bit, what's exciting you the most about your work right now?
So for us, we've been around a long time, our company, and really had the same kind of product model. We started as, really evolved from Fairfield to Wyndham to, Travel and Leisure, where we are here today. And I think the idea of having these specific clubs that are out there that really appeal to a certain niche audience is very unique. Margaritaville I just got lucky. I got the funnest club that's out there. I mean, it's our tagline is it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
The best time of day.
That's it.
Oh, we won't tell the listeners you have a margarita already at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, so there you go.
I think I wasn't even fully all in, super excited about this until I met with the folks at Margaritaville Enterprises and seeing what they have in their ecosystem. It just, that's when that construction brain of mine just really started to kick in. And I'm looking at, they have retirement communities called Latitudes. They have all sorts of Margaritaville hotels that are all around the country, over 40 hotels. They have restaurants. They have campgrounds, RV grounds, and of course we have our vacation club. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this is a lifestyle. This is a state of mind. This is a lifestyle. This is something people want to be a part of. And our cruise ships that are out there. So I looked at it and I said, man, this is something special. And I think if you look at a club having that niche market and having something that could really grow is pretty exciting. So to me, I looked at it as this is something we could build on and grow out pretty big.
Yeah, I think I mean, the brand itself, obviously, Jimmy himself, built such a lifestyle, and being able to be a part of that growth, especially as it hits, for the vacation club specifically, hits 10 years, right? There's a lot happening, and then there's so much more that could be on the horizon, sort of pun intended.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well said. Well said. We talk often in our presentations about our first resort in Shirley, Arkansas, back in the Fairfield days. And, for us, it's our first resort in St. Thomas. And, it's incredible. If you go to that property, you really get to see how this club started. There's surfboards out there by the near the water that are the first, several hundred owners signed that signed up for Margaritaville, and of course Jimmy Buffett himself, the first owner. So really neat story, I think, to start off in a place like St. Thomas, and then to see where we've come to today. The future is definitely bright.
I still need to get there. I haven't made it there yet, but when I get there, which will be soon, I'll have to look for those surfboards for sure. That's very special.
Oh yeah.
I actually, and this transitions beautifully from the work part of our chat to the wander part of our chat. I just went in January with the family and had an amazing experience. We had a place up by the pool that's like on the cliff, and so it was just a phenomenal view and a great job that they did building that whole experience there. So that leads me to ask, what is your favorite travel destination? And it doesn't have to be St. Thomas, but what's your favorite travel destination that you've visited and why?
Well, it's funny. I definitely lead with a biased opinion. People say to me all the time, "Is Clearwater really the number one beach in America?" The truth is, whatever beach I'm working on is the number one beach in America. But Clearwater is amazing and has a special place in my heart. But there's so many amazing destinations that are out there. Um, my better half, Jami, she works for Delta, and she travels all around the world. So I've been invited to join her for Thailand, Italy, South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, Paris. I haven't gone to any of them yet because I've been a little bit busy trying to get things going this year, but I get to fly for free. So hopefully I get to take advantage of that. And I would say South Africa is definitely on my list. I think that sounds like an awesome place to go.
That would be
Love
awesome.
that.
I have not been there. Have you been to South Africa, Jess?
No, but I know somebody that in the organization that grew up in South Africa, so I've heard a lot about it. Brendan Bursky is from South Africa originally and
That's
goes
right.
back and visits his family there. He tries to get there every year, but it's a super long flight, obviously. And then I know Jason Barnhill actually just recently went to South Africa and spoke so highly of it. So it sounds like a destination that we should all try and get to at some point.
Definitely. Definitely.
We
Yeah.
should do the next episode of this on site in South
Why not?
Africa and then go big or go home, right?
Right in Cape Town. I think we should. John,
Is it
is there a trip that you've taken that's changed your perspective or inspired your career in any way?
Yeah. Yeah. I would, it's funny. I used to tell this story a lot when I was with clients on the table, and it's before I started my career, but to this day, I could really visualize this trip, and it really has shaped, I think, the way I believe in our product. I believe in what we do and how we change lives. My mother was one of nine growing up, and one of her brothers, my Uncle Tim, was deaf, and my mom decided to dedicate her entire life and career to teaching the deaf at Gallaudet University in DC. So she was a teacher there for 25 years. So hi, Mom, if you're listening. But sadly, my Uncle Tim, he did get sick, and at some point in time, he he passed away. And when he did, he left a will and had something for every single person in the family. And both my parents were teachers growing up. We are probably our best vacation I could remember up until that point was camping, I think in maybe Ocean City. Um, but his favorite destination was Hawaii. That's where he loved to go. He loved going to Hawaii, and he went and saw his place. He would have all this stuff from Hawaii and all of his trips over there. And it was a special place in his heart. So he left a sum of money in his will, and what it said was that my mom and dad, who probably needed it for bills and school expenses, um, for me probably some speeding tickets as well. But it said this money is to take the family on a vacation to Hawaii before everyone moves out of the house. At the time, I had two older brothers that were in high school, and that you only have so much time before everyone kind of splits off and starts their own trip. And lo and behold, we booked a trip to Hawaii. My mom and dad booked me and my three brothers, so four boys on a trip going out there. We stayed at, I think it was a Best Western. We definitely slept head to toe in shared beds, so that was fun. But it was I remember the first morning of that trip getting woken up by a rooster outside the window. I guess there's chickens all over the island.
Yeah.
And we had never been. And you sleep with the windows open. You got that amazing island breeze coming in. And my mom all of a sudden just opens the door and she says, "Everyone get up, get up, get up, get up." And it's still dark outside. And she gets us all up and she just kind of pushes us out the door. And next thing you know, the six of us are heading down to the beach. And we sit down. There's like a blanket right there on the beach. My mom had already laid out. And we just sat there and we watched the sun come up over the ocean. And I think at the time I was must have been 13 or 14 years old when this happened. And I'll never forget the sun just peeking up over the ocean. And it was like darkness. And then all of a sudden, this little star twinkles, and then everything just starts to glow. And you see this island all around you. It was a pretty magical moment. Nobody in my family said a word. We all just sat there and we looked and we watched and we all looked at each other. And I remember my mom saying, that's what Uncle Tim wanted you to remember. So to me, that was a special trip, and that's something that I've shared with clients on the table because that definitely changed my perspective about time and family and the memories that we make.
Yeah, that ties into like our entire company mission of, we put the world on vacation because those memories and our experiences are exactly what people look back on, to get through, tough times, to get through just normal life. You remember those moments and those special experiences that you get to have with your loved ones. And that definitely sounds like it was very pivotal for you. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
great.
No, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was awesome, John. And thank you to Uncle Tim
Yeah.
for making that happen for you. Definitely plays into the hearts of what we're trying to do here at Travel and Leisure, 100%. We're gonna go from a a heartfelt story to something we're gonna try, and we'll see how it goes. We're calling it the suitcase sprint. So you're gonna get yeah, I know, right? You're gonna get a set of you have to pretend like you're running to your connection through the airport because you're gonna get some rapid fire questions from Jess, and the first thing that comes to mind, you just blurt it out, and we'll go through a couple and see how we go. Sound good?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm used to running, sprinting through the airport, so let's do it.
Awesome. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Beach, city, or mountains?
Mountains.
What's one travel essential you never leave home without?
Phone charger.
Best trip you've ever taken?
Thailand.
Early flight or red eye?
Red eye.
What's your dream destination you haven't made it to yet?
I said South Africa, so I'll stick with it.
I figured so. Hike, bite, or boat?
Boat.
Itinerary planner or go with the flow?
Go with the flow.
Philosophy, right?
That's it.
And last but not least, what's one song on your vacation playlist?
Thank God and Jimmy Buffett by Pitbull.
I love
Wilson
that.
turned me on to that song at the Wyndham Championship, and it was we were rocking it on the bus. It was awesome.
I think it's funny that you picked mountains. I would have expected that beach would have been the go-to.
You would think, but I lived at the beach and I lived in the city. I've never lived in the mountains, so
I get that.
More of
I
a
get that.
getaway. Yeah, more of a getaway.
There's something about, especially when you live in Florida for a long amount of time, like both John and I have, that going to somewhere that is a different climate is just such an escapism thing, right? To feel cool.
absolutely, absolutely.
Cool.
Coming from the Northeast, every vacation was always somewhere tropical and warm. And my first vacation when I moved to Clearwater Beach was to Beaver Creek, Colorado, to the snow to go skiing. So
Exactly. That's funny, right? We're planning a ski trip for spring break now. So there you go, up in Canada. So
nice,
we like the
nice.
cold when we can get it. Um, Well, we've mentioned a lot of different things, John, but obviously at Travel and Leisure, the goal is to put the world on vacation. So, with that in mind, any final like thoughts or advice for listeners, whether it's career advice or whether it's like travel advice? Like, make sure that you follow Uncle Tim's philosophy.
Yeah, I think if I was going to give any advice to anyone that's out there is just be authentic. Be authentic. If you work hard in this industry, and you treat people right, everyone wants to talk to someone who's authentic. And I think that can get convoluted because we have an agenda, we have a job to do, whether it's sales or marketing or back of the house. We all have goals, we all have jobs. There's always an agenda that we have, but be in the moment and be authentic with people. And I think throughout my career, everywhere I've gone, I've always just been myself and kept it authentic. And whether you love me or don't, I am who I am, and I think that's always served me well, and the clients as well.
Love that. Thank you. That's good.
Perfect advice. Yes. Well, I guess that about wraps us up. So thank you again, John, for joining us and sharing your time and experiences. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And until next time, keep wandering.
See ya.
Thanks for having me, guys.